Euro 2024 Fantasy starts in under a week, so it's time to get your defences in order. Welcome to FPL Mate. My name is Dan, and it's time to rate or slate your best defensive picks. Okay guys, a tier list as usual. We are going to be going through all of the most popular defenders and rating them based on these 5 categories you see on screen, depending on how good I think they are as fantasy picks. Guys, we're going to be going through the 25 most popular players today, but I've also added 5 differential bonus hidden gem players that we're going to do at the end that I think really deserve a mention, but aren't that popular within the game. So look forward to that. Guys, we're going to start off with the 25th most popular defender, most selected defender at time of recording, and that is going to be Akanji. And I think Akanji is a player who can go straight into the solid category. He is nailed. His ball recovery numbers are amazing, 7.5 per game during qualifying. So he's going to get an average of at least 2 ball recovery points per game when he plays. That's absolutely incredible. He has some goal threat, 1 goal in 10 games in qualifying, also scored once during the last World Cup, and a good opening fixture against Hungary and then Scotland. Only 5 million. I think he's a decent pick. Although not playing for the best defense, I still think it's going to be okay. Next up, Dijk. He's, I think, a little risky. I probably would maybe avoid him because 5 ball recoveries per game. It's decent, but it's not like insane. He hasn't scored for the Netherlands in 5 years, so not really too much goal threat there. He plays Poland and then France. Those are tough fixtures. I think both of those teams will score against the Netherlands, and Netherlands I don't think are an amazing defense anyway. 5.5, a little expensive for me, so he's going to go in there. Next up, Ali G in the house. Yeah, seriously, Ali G, 4 million defender. Not really sure why people are picking him or why he is the 23rd most popular defender at time of recording. He's not even a starter for Albania, so he's going to be an absolutely useless fantasy asset, unfortunately. And there are some other 4 million defenders, if you're looking to go cheap, who actually are going to get some game time, and we're going to speak about them very, very shortly. Next up, Koundé. I think he's probably solid. You know, it's a decent defense at France. He's probably going to play right back. Only 3.4 ball recoveries per game. He's never really got a goal or an assist in his 27 appearances for France. But 5 million for a France defender who should be reasonably nailed on. I quite like that fact alone. So he's solid. No better than that. Next up, Carvajal. He's going to go in risky for me. 3.75 ball recoveries per game. Again, there's not too much special going on there. You know, it's slightly better than Koundé, but only 2 assists during qualifying. It's not bad. He got another assist against Brazil in the March friendly. But my issue is the 2 fixtures at 5.5 million. You're paying for a defender who's about to play Croatia and then Italy. 2 tough fixtures to open up the season for Spain. So I think I would put him in the risky category. Next up, another risky player, Dumfries. Very weak for ball recoveries, but he is super attacking. He's basically a winger when he plays for the Netherlands. 5 assists in qualifying. Great tournament record. Everything sounds amazing for Dumfries. The problem is he is rotating risk with Frimpong. One of them can play. Dumfries and Frimpong aren't really going to play both together, and it looks like Frimpong is more likely to start now for the Netherlands, even though Dumfries has historically played more than Frimpong. I think Frimpong it's now his time, so I think there's a big risk you take when going for Dumfries. Now, if Dumfries does play ahead of Frimpong, then he's going to be an incredible fantasy asset, but there's going to be some rotation there at the very least, and yeah, I'm just not convinced by him anymore, so he goes in there. Next up, Bastoni. I think I'm going to go for a void for Bastoni. I think he's okay, generally speaking. The opening fixture, he should get fantasy points. And it's not that he individually is a bad fantasy asset. 5.25 ball recoveries per game during qualifying. Decent. Only 1 goal for Italy. That was over 2 years ago. My issue is the 5.5 million price tag. And actually, there are better Italy defenders you can go for the same price or even cheaper, who are going to give you more fantasy points. So therefore, it doesn't really seem like there's too much point in going for Bastoni. He's probably the worst of the 4 starting Italy defenders in terms of value for money and, you know, attacking potential and stuff like that. So for that reason, he's got to be in a void. But there's just better picks. Next up, we have got Kumbula. Kumbula, yeah, you might not have heard of this player either. He is another Albanian 4 million defender that people seem to be going for. I mean, to be fair to Kumbula, he does play slightly more often than Ali G in the house. But Still not enough. So, yeah, there's better 4 million defenders to go for better teams. We're going to get to that. And we're going to get to that immediately, actually, because Face is coming in next. And I think he goes straight into the great pick category. In terms of value for money, looking for that 4 million defender, I think he is a insanely good value pick. 5.25 ball recoveries per game. That's the same as Bastoni. His opening fixture is against Slovakia, and then he plays Romania, and then Ukraine. He's not 100% nailed throughout the entire tournament because we have got Debast and Witsel, two players who are also going to be available at centre-back for the opening game. I do think Face will play, though, because we've got Vertonghen and Teat. They are unavailable for the start of the tournament, which means that Face's his game time potential, certainly at the start of the tournament, is pretty high. Really high, in fact. I think he's like 90% nailed on. Just be aware of that small risk, but you're going to have a small amount of risk whenever you go for a player this cheap. But I think it's really, really worth going for. Really like this pick. Great pick, despite the fact that, you know, maybe in the Premier League, he hasn't done well in the past. If you guys have played FPL before and know about Face for Leicester, we won't talk about that too much. But he has been given a new chance in Euro Fantasy. Let's see what he can do. Next up, Schlotterbeck. I think he is probably just a straight up avoid, to be honest, because 4.5 million looks good value for money, but for various reasons, he's never really been a regular starter for Germany, and many fans are predicting that Rudiger and Ta to be the two starting centre-backs for Germany, and as such, I don't really think it's worth the risk. I'm going to put him in the avoid category. Dalot up next. I think there is slight risk here. There could be a slight rotation risk with Mendes. I think I'm still going to put him in solid, though, because he does start most games for Portugal. 6 ball recoveries per game during qualifying, which is really good. No attacking returns during qualifying, but a small history of attacking returns for his country. Czech Republic, Turkey, then Georgia. They are the 3 fixtures in the group. Very, very nice. Just a little bit worried about that Mendes taking minutes from him, and that's why I can't put him any higher than solid. Next up, Di Lorenzo. I think Di Lorenzo maybe goes in somewhere between solid and risky. We'll be generous. We'll put him in solid. Fairly attacking right back, although we'll talk about the left back for Italy shortly. The left back is more attacking than the right back, though. 1 assist in qualifying. That was actually against England. Would only really consider Di Lorenzo if you're doubling or tripling up on the Italy defence, however, and only for match day 1 as well, because Italy play Albania first, then they play Spain, and then Croatia in match days 2 and 3. That's pretty tough. So, solid, I think we can do a little bit better. Next up, let's go for Saliba. I think Saliba, another fairly solid defender here. I've maybe put him in risky due to his price and the fact I think we can maybe do better in terms of value for money coming out of France. I would prefer Koundé, for example. I think Saliba is not 100% nailed looking at his history for France, but he should play. You know, he should play. No attacking threat for him, really. Should do well for ball recoveries. He is a little risky there, but you could go for him. Next up, Kyle Walker. I think, genuinely, at this point, I would probably put Kyle Walker in the avoid category. So let's put him down there. Ball recovery is not as good as I expected, actually. Only 3.71 per game. Not much attacking a threat. We don't really see Walker do too well for attacking. And pound for pound, he's probably the worst of the 4 starting England defenders, or the 4 defenders we expect to start for England. So, therefore, not really a place for him in our fantasy teams. I think, you know, there's just better England defenders to go for right now, and we're going to cover them very, very shortly. Next up, Diaz, solid. Let's go solid. He did score against Finland the other day, but that's only his 3rd goal for Portugal in 55 appearances. 6.33 ball recoveries per game in qualifying is very good, however. He's got an easy group, and 6 million is a little expensive, and that's why we can't put him any higher than that. Next up, Josko Guardiol. I think I personally would probably avoid him personally, but I do see some appeal to him. So we're going to put him in the risky category. Now let's talk about Guardiola. 6.63 ball recoveries per game. That is top tier, as we know. But he does usually play centre-back for Croatia, with Sosa as the left-back. He's unlikely to play in the same attacking spaces as he does for City. It's a very different system at Croatia. No attacking returns in qualifiers or friendlies since the World Cup. He's got an opening game against Spain, and at 5.5 million, I would probably give him a miss for Matchday 1. Do not expect FPL Man City Guardiola going into this opening fixture. Tough fixture, different position really. He's a different player in many ways, but I think when he does play in the slightly easier fixtures against Italy and Albania, at that point we'll probably talk about Guardiola a little bit more. But for Matchday 1, I don't think I'd go for him personally. Think he's a little bit too risky there. Next up, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I'm very tempted to put him in great pick. I really am. He's probably going to play in midfield. He plays for a top defence. I know you guys are probably going to be overreacting right now to the England versus Iceland score, but these are easily solvable issues. I think on another day, England do not concede in that game, and a player like Trent would keep a clean sheet if he was starting. And what we saw in that England versus Iceland game is that Trent, when he came on, was brilliant. He was really very much needed, particularly against some of these lower block teams that will sit back against England. Trent is going to be really, really important for those games. He's also been given the number 8 shirt for England, which implies that he may be a starter. I don't think it's 100% guaranteed to play, but given the fact he can play at centre-back or right-back, that is going to, centre-mid or right-back, sorry, that is going to be advantageous. 3.75 ball recoveries per game, not bad, but not great. A goal and an assist in 3 qualifying games. That's really nice. Another goal in a recent friendly against Bosnia. He's a set piece taker. He is slightly risky, but there is high upside here. If he is involved in a goal, he gets a few ball recoveries, maybe gets a clean sheet as well. You are looking at a player for 5.5 million who can get a really high score. So slight risk, but I think overall he's a great pick. Next up, another great pick and another 4 million beast. It's Mittelstadt. So when I'm looking at the 4 million defenders to go for, Mittelstadt and Face would be the 2 players to go for. Now, Mittelstadt is a player who has now started for Germany at left back for 4 consecutive games with Raum on the bench. Yes, he has taken Raum's position and he is starting every game at left back at the moment. In that time, he's got a couple of clean sheets. He's got a goal, and this has been against tough oppositions as well. France, Netherlands, Ukraine. Raum is competition for him, but, you know, like I say, he's been benched a few times and Mittelstadt has been starting. So if you think Mittelstadt will keep his place, and by the way, we will know before the Matchday 1 deadline if Mittelstadt is going to start or not, because of when the deadlines are in Euro Fantasy. You can make changes to your fantasy team all the way up till kickoff for that Germany-Scotland game. We're going to have the lineups. We're going to have the information. And for that reason, Mittelstadt, is he a must-have? Right now he is. I think he is. I think you just got to go for him right now. And if he doesn't start, maybe swap him for Face or think about a restructure somewhere. But I'm pretty confident at this point. We've got another must-have coming up, and his name is DeMarco. We're going to put him in the must-have category as well. So he's a nailed-on attacking left-back for Italy. Usually more attacking than Di Lorenzo on the other side of defence. He's the free kick taker. He's the corner taker. He does 4.17 ball recoveries per game during qualifying. Only 5 million. Plays for a solid defence. Albania is the opening fixture. He ticks every single box for a fantasy asset that you could possibly imagine. He does everything, and for that price as well, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. So for me, he's a must-have. I cannot imagine having a Euro Fantasy team that does not include DeMarco. It's got to be done. Now this next one, I know is going to be a little bit controversial, and I know a lot of people will probably disagree with me, but we're going to put Grimaldo in risky. Now, he is attacking, he is a set-piece taker, and he is 20% selected. So 1 in 5 of Euro Fantasy managers will have him in their team right now. I think he's a little overrated. He's only ever been in the Spain squad 5 games ever. He was benched twice during that time and hooked at 45 minutes in another one. So he's actually only played like a decent amount of minutes 2 times for Spain. not really enough. He seems more likely to start against some of the weaker teams, as he is a little bit weaker defensively compared to Cucurella, who I think will start some of the tougher games. The opening fixture is a tough game against Croatia, and then Spain play Italy, so another tough game again. So he's risky. He's not guaranteed to start. A clean sheet is possible, but it's not super likely against the likes of Croatia. So I'm not really convinced by him. He's not really the kind of player who will get ball recoveries either. I know, yeah, a lot of people like Ronaldo. I don't. I think he's a risky pick. But if you are happy to take the risk, go for him. But I think he is being slightly overrated by a lot of people. Cancelo up next. He's going to go in the great pick category. He's the most nailed on Portugal fullback. He's got a good group, as we know. 3 goals during qualifying, which is very good. 4.44 ball recoveries per game in qualifying as well. It's okay. It's okay. You are going to get some points from that. He is expensive at 6 million, but in my opinion, he is the best of the 6 million defenders to go for. Next up, Theo Hernandez. I think he is another great pick. Nailed on attacking left back with solid attacking threat. Plays for a top defense. 5.25 ball recoveries per game, and Austria is the opening fixture. Decent stuff. Next up, Rudiger. Rudiger's okay. He's a really popular pick as well. I'm not really sure why he is as popular as he is. I think we can actually get better value for money in the Germany defense. But he's solid. He's solid. We'll put him around here. 32% owned. I think it's a bit too much. Probably the most nailed on defender for Germany. He does have some goal threat as a set piece target man. The Germany defense, however, hasn't always convinced me over the last couple of years. And I think at 5.5 million, it's not quite the right price to put him in great pick. But 5 million, I think we'd be talking about him a little bit more. Next up, Van Dijk. This is a difficult one. So Van Dijk, previously, it was reported that he could be on penalties. There seems to be some debate about whether he actually will be taking penalties for the Netherlands or not. So let me go through that and what the debate is. So, Netherlands manager Koeman said that Van Dijk would continue to take penalties a while ago. However, Depay was unavailable at the time, and it's unclear whether the manager meant that Van Dijk would continue to be the penalty taker indefinitely or just whilst Depay is out. Now, Depay is not out anymore, so maybe he's going to return to penalties. So, Netherlands fans, let me know what you think about this one, but here's my opinion. If he is indeed on penalty, he is a great pick, and we can put him in that great pick category. But if he's not, 6 million is bad value for money compared to other options because he's going to be less likely to score goals. Yes, he is going to have a little bit of attacking threat from those set pieces, being a target man, but with the opening fixture against Poland and the Netherlands defence not fully convincing at all times, I don't know. I think he is kind of just okay. I want more for 6 million than just a decent defender with decent aerial threat. I want a penalty taker, really, if I'm going to spend 6 million on a defender, or I want open play threat. So, therefore, since we don't know exactly, I think we put him in somewhere in the solid category and no higher. He could turn out to be very good. It could be that he's actually a little bit more expensive than he should be. Which leaves us with our most popular defender, most selected defender at time of recording before we go through our hidden gems. And it's Frimpong. I think he's super interesting. Really, really interesting pick. So, basically, no history of consistent minutes for the Netherlands. He's been on the bench loads, but has always been backup to Dumfries until recently, because he started 2 out of the last 3 games for the Netherlands. Last game against Canada, he played ridiculously advanced. He was a right winger. He wasn't a right back. He was a right winger. He was an attacker. He was a forward. Yet he is listed as a defender in Euro Fantasy. That is dreamland, right? He even got a goal and an assist against Canada in that friendly. Has he finally earned his place over Dumfries? You know, long-term favourite Dumfries? I don't know for 100%. If he has, then we put him even higher, and maybe he's even a must-have. So there is some risk with Frimpong, but the potential rewards are huge for a defender who is this attacking. So I'm going to put him in great pick for now. There is still some risk, and I just want you guys to be aware of that. So let's go through some differentials. We'll finish off the video with them because, yeah, I'm excited to share these with you guys because not enough people are talking about these defenders who are really actually quite good. So first of all, let's throw in Ta. Yeah, he is at least a solid pick, maybe even a great pick. We're going to throw him in the great pick category. 4% selected, so some people are selecting him, but maybe not as much as perhaps they should. He is predicted to start alongside Rudiger at centre-back for Germany. Started 8 out of the last 8 games for Germany, so that is consistent. And, you know, he's pretty decent. Not much attacking threat, but at 1 million cheaper than Rudiger, that's really good value for money there. I would put him in great pick. If you're looking for a 4.5 million defender, he would definitely be up there as one of the best. Next up, I want to talk about Merla. I think he is solid at 5.5 million, but he needs to be spoken about more. Only 2% selected. The thing is with Merla is he is ridiculously attacking. He is stupidly attacking. Again, kind of like a Frimpong or a Dumfries. He's basically a winger in this Denmark team, involved in so much of the attacking play for Denmark over the last few years. 2 goals and an assist in qualifying. He has a great record at international tournaments for attacking returns, and Slovenia is the opening game. And according to the bookies' odds, Denmark have a 44% chance of a clean sheet against Slovenia. Now, that's the second best Matchday 1 clean sheet odds. Only Italy versus Albania is higher. He's a little bit expensive at 5.5 million, but worth a mention in my opinion. Next up, let's put Johnny Stones in next. Again, I think he is solid. I'm going to put him in solid and not great pick, only because we are not 100% sure on his fitness. He did come off for England yesterday, and I am a little bit concerned by that one. But if he is available, and we'll get some more information through the week, he's a nailed-on and safe England defender. Will play every game unless he's injured, pretty much. And he has a little bit of aerial threat as well. But at 5 million, that's really, really decent value for money. England have a good group. They're a strong defence. 5 million for a defender from them is really, really nice indeed. You're going to get ball recoveries from him as well. That's going to be pretty useful. But we can go cheaper. And it's going to be Guehi. I think Guehi is really, really a great pick. And he's going to go straight in the great pick category. We're going to put him all the way up there. He is 0% selected right now. He is predicted to start alongside Stones as the 2 centre-backs for England, given that Maguire is now out injured. Maguire's out of the team. And Guehi, you know, only Maguire actually clocked up more minutes than Guehi as at centre-back during qualifying. He had even more minutes than John Stones at centre-back throughout qualifying. So I think he's good. Started both warm-up games for England. I think he's pretty much a lock in this England team. And at 4.5 million to get an England defender, insane value for money. And that's only come about through injuries to the likes of Maguire. He's going to be even more nailed on if Stones is indeed injured as well. So yeah, great pick. Probably the best 4.5 million defender to go for, full stop. There is one more though. One more, and I haven't seen anyone talk about this player. So we're going to talk about him right now. Mancini. Great pick again. Probably slightly prefer Guehi, but Mancini, I believe he is going to be the other starting centre-back alongside Bastoni for Italy with this great opening fixture against Albania, and you can get him for just 4.5 million. So cheap for such good clean sheet odds. That is such good value for money there. Now, he hasn't really scored or assisted for Italy, but at club level, he has got a decent amount of aerial threat because he's enormous. He's like 6'3", kind of set-piece target man. And I think he can do that a little bit more for Italy as he gets more game time. He hasn't historically been a consistent starter for Italy, but he has been starting more games recently. And I think he has probably almost locked down his place at centre-back for Italy. I think he's certainly the most likely player to play alongside Bastoni at centre-back for Italy by quite some distance. So, great pick for me. Not spoken about enough. I think only 1% of Euro Fantasy managers have him in their team, and I think he's been severely underrated. So that's why he had to come in on this tier list as one of our gems. So, there we go, guys. Tier list complete for defenders. Let me know what you think about our ranking, about our ordering. Do you think everyone is in the right place? Would you change anything? I know players like Ronaldo and Guardiola probably going to be a little controversial, so let me know your opinions on those players as well as any others. And if there's any defenders we haven't spoken about in today's video, let me know. Leave a comment, and yeah, we will rate them as well in the comment section. But there we go, guys. Make sure you drop a like before you go, and do subscribe if you want more Euro Fantasy videos. We did do 2 other tier list videos, midfielders and forwards, so go check them out if you want to check out the forwards and midfielders tier list, of course. And we're going to do goalkeepers as well. We're definitely going to do it now. Don't worry, it's coming. So, guys, thank you so much for watching once again, and we will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.